All right, let's keep talking. So I'm developing a pattern here, which is to talk about some of the little technical details before getting to the more philosophical, meaty themes of the movie. So let's keep talking about technical shit. And this is all in the worksheet, right? I gave you guys that worksheet that has those questions you can ask about why is it edited like this? Why is this camera angle chosen? Why is it lit like this? And various stuff. Um, so that's what I'm going through. Is I'm essentially doing worksheet stuff a lot of the time, and then once we've got all of those little detail work and you've been trained to kind of notice these things, the idea is that then we can talk about sort of the philosophical oomph. If you took 201 with me, it's the same kind of process where we got to talk about the metaphor and we got to talk about the irony and we got to understand what's going on before we can talk about the theme, the ideas of the thing. Let's talk about more camera stuff and more setting stuff. So interestingly, one of the most famous things about The Shining, and this is probably the only movie you can say that of, the most famous thing about The Shining is the carpet. Um, the set, the design of the set is amazing. That carpet pattern, that hexagonal brown and orange carpet pattern has become the symbol of The Shining. Um, Again, it's to design a beautiful, a really interesting attention. Beautiful is the wrong word, but like an attention grabbing, interesting design like that. It's hard to explain, or it's hard for me to explain why it's so eye catching and interesting. But it's unusual. Let's start with that. It's a very unusual carpet. And because it's unusual, it's become the symbol for the whole movie. It's also the fact that you can see so much of the carpet. You see long, empty stretches of the carpet with no one in it. Um, do you know this word? I assume you know this word, eerie. Um, Eerie has a particular meaning, and it really is very much about what you see um, in The Shining. It's eerie because one of the definitions of eerie is it's a place that's supposed to have a lot of people that doesn't, and so an empty hotel is eerie. When there's no people there, it can start to feel spooky or eerie. If you've ever turned down a street in New York and suddenly no one's on that street, it's such a rare thing. You're used to people bustling everywhere, and oh, COVID. COVID cleared out the streets. So if you had to go somewhere during COVID, like take the subway or take a long walk, the streets of Manhattan felt empty. You're used to them being full, but they're empty. That gives you an eerie feeling. Same thing in The Shining. You expect this place to be full of people because it's a hotel, and there's nobody in it but just this family. And the carpet, if you ever saw a carpet like that, probably people be coming in and out of their hotel rooms in bags, but the fact that there's nothing there really emphasizes it. Um, but that carpet is amazing. It's a famous symbol of the movie. Last year when I got Christmas presents, my wife wrapped all my Christmas presents in wrapping paper that was like from The Shining. It was The Shining carpet as wrapping paper. I ordered a COVID mask. It hasn't arrived yet, but I ordered a COVID mask where the mask itself is in the shape of the Shining carpet. It has the carpet pattern is on the mask. Um, it's a very, very famous thing. Again, slightly less famous, but equally awesome, is the carpet in room 237. Which, if you thought orange and brown in a hexagon pattern was bad, the weird peacock feather color of purple and green with a green bathroom in room 237 is, again, it's just an unusual color combination. It's sort of ugly. It's sort of hypnotic. It's very strange. The only person I can think of who wears a lot of green and purple together is like the Joker, which is like that's not a happy character. So there's a disturbing design element to it. You see the same disturbing aspect in the bathroom where Jack talks to Grady. It's this very like blood. It's a bright primary color red with white in the bathroom. And of course, one of the things that makes that bathroom stand out, just like the carpet, it's just the two of them in there, which is weird because there's a massive ghost party going on outside. So normally in a party of that size, the bathroom people be coming in and out of the bathroom the whole time. But here, the bathroom is totally empty, and it really, again, emphasizes the design of it. It's a strange place with mirrors and like weird lit up. The bar is like lit up, and it's behind the bar is also lit up. It's a very sort of like the last area in 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's like a very dynamic kind of set. Okay, cool. Um, this should be in contrast. It's important to notice contrasts in movies. So one thing to notice about the set of 2000 of The Shining is it's quite different from Danny's home. The brief glimpse we get of the apartment where Danny and Wendy are, it's pretty dreary. It's filled with toys, but they're all kind of junky. and the walls are empty, or they have little stickers on them, and that's about it. It's a very kind of dreary looking apartment. It is small. It is sort of half-heartedly, sadly decorated. It's filled with books and junk, and there's stuff on the countertops. When you get to the Shining Hotel, it's the Overlook. It's very different, where suddenly everything's empty, everything's too clean, too fancy. It's the opposite of Danny's apartment. And so it's crucial, just the jump from places. It's very different spaces that we're traveling from. But it emphasizes the weirdness of the hotel that we also see Danny's apartment, because you see the contrast draws attention to what sort of a creepy, weird, eerie place the hotel is. Okay, cool. I think we're going really good. So I think I've done some stuff. Let's talk about one more. Took another sort of shot, the other most famous. Since I'm talking about famous things about the movie, I think it would be worth it to talk about the most famous one, which is the blood elevator. Now, once again, this is one of those things where I really need you to picture what it would have been like back then. Sorry, I'm looking down at this because I'm looking at my notes. In modern day world, you can generate any kind of image you want with computer imagery, which should be amazing, but actually it just results in movies all looking exactly the same. In order to get that shot of the elevator doors opening and the blood pouring out, Kubrick, they didn't have computer generated technology back then. He had to build a contraption filled with red liquid and open the doors where all of this stuff spilled out, and he had to record it. And then if he didn't like the way it looked, he had to do it again and again and again. So it's a very difficult shot to get. It's not easy to do. It requires, Kubrick was very interested in sort of pushing the technology to see what could be done. So it's an incredibly creepy moment. But one of the reasons why it's famous is because it's massively creepy to have elevator doors open and just gallons and gallons, hundreds of gallons of blood just pouring out, so much so that the furniture gets washed away and some of the blood even gets on the camera. It's really cool. It's a famous shot. But it's also shocking because the audience at the time was going to be like, holy shit, how did they do that, right? Because he had to build something that would physically, and then he had to clean up afterwards, right? Because whatever you build to spray all that blood everywhere, you're then going to have to clean it up. So it's a massive amount of work to get the shot. So and why is he doing that? Because he wants to show the audience something they've never seen before. And it makes the moment, it's shocking now because it's scary, but it's even more shocking back then because they shouldn't have had the technology to accomplish that. And Kubrick was like, no, I can do that. And he did it. Film history is filled with these moments. Phantom Menace is a terrible movie, but it was one of the first movies, and sort of the first famous movie, that where all the backgrounds were computer generated. So the whole movie, there's no real sets, it's all computer sets. So people were impressed with that, and they realized the movie was garbage. But the point is that the technology is pretty neat, and whatever you want to say about how bad that movie is, it did set the tone for a lot of other movies, where now when you get to something like Avengers, it's mostly done the same way, where they're just in these fake backgrounds created by a computer. Kubrick obviously is not doing that, but and James Cameron's Avatar, not to be confused with Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is the greatest television show ever made. James Cameron's Avatar similarly used 3D technology in like a new way, or the first movie that had color in it, or the first movie that had sound in it. People invent these things, and it shocks the audience with something new. Now, the thing about Kubrick that's cool is that Phantom Menace now is such a bad movie, but the blood elevator is still impressive even without the technology leap. So, okay, we're doing pretty good. Let's pick it up in the next video.